And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audio Visual Services. And once again, I'm joined by Mr. Ryan Finch.
Hello, hello. This is different.
Well, this is different, isn't it?
It is.
Here by the tree, a little fireside chat.
Yeah, we're both IRL.
We are IRL. We thought that it might make sense, for our special holiday version of the show to do it right here in our own space, right in our front lobby of the Elmsford building. And, we're kind of decked out here for the holidays. So
that's true. And because we're in a lobby, you know what that means, right?
It means that anybody could walk through the front door.
That's exactly where I was going with that. That's great.
We have actually locked the front door.
And there's signs everywhere that say, we're live. Please be quiet.
But we are still expecting something to happen during this program. So be on the lookout. If you do see a random head pop by or any sort of weird thing, you'll know we're live. This is not pre-recorded.
That is true.
Anyways, before we get started on why we're doing it this way, I have to make a special shout out. Ryan, do you know who I'm going to shout out?
I feel like I do.
Someone who is extremely important to me. And right now, she doesn't feel very good. She has been sick this week. So that means she's at home and she should be watching this broadcast my daughter, Marissa Gilderson. That was her dancing last week at the Paramount Theater. Looking a little bit too old. I don't really appreciate that part too much. But either way, she did great as usual. Hello, Marissa. I hope you're feeling better. And if that didn't embarrass you, then I don't know what will.
Well, speaking of Marissa's, we do actually have a comment from our very own, watching live from Broadway. Couldn't miss the last show of the year. Look at that.
Wow. That's dedication.
It is dedication. That's great. So also be like Marissa and comment because, again, we're in a lobby. We're all off script here. So be part of the show. Why not?
This is just rolling. And you'll notice that both Brian and I may be reaching places to actually do things because, again, we are still actually controlling the show. I'm telling you, this is
multitasking.
This is magic, I tell you. Magic. Well, look, before we get going here, we're going to tell you why we're doing it this way. Because once again, our job is to bring you something different, right? And showcase technology. And so we're here in the lobby. What does that mean? Well, that means it is another version of a hybrid event. So we have our trusty wireless microphones here going into our old school mixer. And then it gets funny after that. It starts disappearing into the computer world and the software world.
There's beeps.
I mean, I told
dings.
You, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. There you go.
But so then we're going back into, we're using a USB camera. We're on software controlling. So it's just a whole lot going on here. Fortunately, we actually know how to do this stuff.
This better go well. Yes, we do know how to do this. Functionally, everything is set up the correct way. That I feel very certain of. It's the content that we'll have to,
Content's a little dicey, but that's why we chose something easy today because we're trying a lot of new things.
That's right.
But we are going to get into that after Mr. Ryan tells you. How do they find us, Ryan?
Well, you can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, live. You can do that every Wednesday, specifically at 1 p.m., just like the clock on the wall says 1 p.m., and it is Wednesday. I'm pretty sure. I'm only 90% sure.
Hit the clock,
so we did hit the clock. Yeah. Oh, well, there we go. So Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. If you're there, you should drop us a comment and be part of the show. We will answer it live. Again, anything can happen because it is live. And if you missed this, you can always find the bite-sized pieces on Facebook and on Instagram afterwards. And last but not least, the most important part, smash the subscribe button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. Super helpful. Please and thank you.
Ryan, once again, you have performed marvelously.
I was going to say mediocrely, but thank you.
But I'm trying to make you feel better about yourself today. So my job's to lift you up.
I appreciate it.
All right. So we about ready to get at this thing?
I think so. Where do we start?
See, I'm the only one who actually has a script.
That's
Ryan
true. I don't
literally
has
no idea what's going to happen.
No, you're going to hear a lot of next slide. Okay, we can move on here. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to use the appropriate terms that we used for virtual events for
That's
2
right.
years when no one was next to you to say,
That's very true.
let's keep it going. But last week we did an AVX live recap, basically highlighting our podcast, who the most popular
right.
shows were. And I mean, we really had some great participants and interviews and conversations. It's really a great year. This year we thought we'd finish the year talking about our actual events and trying to highlight some of the, the particulars, because each event is really unique and it's got its own
Absolutely.
specialty. Not just that each of our clients is unique, which all of our clients are fantastic. Some I happen to like more than others. I'm not gonna lie.
We're live.
Oh, was that on camera?
That's right.
Oh, sorry about that. To the ones I don't really like, I'm sorry. But the truth hurts. I don't know what to say. But
All right, Gilderson, keep moving. Let's go.
Either way, each event is unique, and we thought we could highlight that by showing some visuals and pictures of some of the events, which also should help people generate ideas for 2023.
Oh, we're trying to do something nice, huh?
Every now and then, it's our gift to you.
'Tis the season.
Yeah.
There we go.
These are actually real gifts. I'm not sure if they are. I might have made.
There's a Smirnoff Ice in that one. You know what has to happen now.
I don't know what's in that one. Let's keep it moving. If we could get some of our graphics ready here, we're gonna bring them on screen. Hopefully.
There we go.
I can't believe that worked.
Cue number 1. Nailed it.
Bam,
Boom. Great
bam.
start.
Okay. So we're going to start with some of our fundraising events and nonprofit events. And that's what this picture right here is, and a couple that actually follow right behind it. These started all as hybrid in the very beginning of the year. So we had one show for the in-room audience, which in both of those cases was several hundred people. And then there was another show that was going on for our online audience. But all of that really kind of quickly changed. By May, I would say, all those events just said, we're going in person.
Right.
Even some of the ones that were in the fall that were 100% scheduled to be, 2 different programs, one online and one in person. Yeah, that changed. They changed like 2 days before, but they changed. So we've really already done all the work by then.
Perfect.
But either way, they just found that the people who are attending those events wanted to be in person, and they were going to raise more money being in person.
Right.
So I think that was the big driver to those changes. Interesting. The picture you have there, Ryan, is the same space as the picture prior to that.
Oh, prior.
Prior
That
would
means
be the one before.
The one before. Got it.
We're still working on our cues here. But in one, we use TVs, and then next we use projection screens. And that kind of helps people generate different ideas for these particular spaces. And this was at our friends over at Brayburn Country Club. Great space, great venue, really cool outdoor part of their space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they nailed it on the outdoor.
They did. Absolutely. Yeah. Great terrace.
And now we can continue our slideshow, please.
Wow, that was much better than next slide.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you. I'm working on it. This is new material for me. I just like this picture. I mean, I don't know.
It's the DJ view. DJ view. I like that.
This is how they view the world.
Right. Very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool shot.
He doesn't even have to imagine everyone's in their underwear. They're all dressed up.
Bingo bango. Bob's your uncle. All right. Our friends at Greystone. Brownies, 40th anniversary. They were unbelievable. Great show. Really cool show. One of my favorite pictures. So these were our friends at the Business Council Westchester. And this is a series. There's a three-peat here of pictures. So this was our main stage, right? Go to the next picture. This was also our main stage.
You're saying there's 2 main stages? How can you have 2 main things?
Can you go to the next picture?
I can.
Oh, man. I know this is a side view, so it doesn't give you the whole. But we actually set up 2 main stages next to each other. Had one dark. It was for a special presentation as Lionsgate Studio was our keynote speaker that day. And they were telling us all about the incredible facility in Yonkers. I want to say it's like 3 million square feet of studio space.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's actually really amazing. But so we wanted to have a little bit of a reveal. So we had this other stage next to him that, of course, looked a little bit more like a movie set. And so we got to do, again, something different. So our friends at BCW and Amanda in particular always like new ideas. And this was kind of what we came up with.
This is interesting too, because I think it kind of illustrates one of the themes that I personally experienced. I don't know if you felt the same way, but for that in-person experience, the level of maybe showmanship has, in my mind, increased since the pre-pandemic times. It's almost like they want to make more of a impression now that we're back in person. And so I think that's actually a pretty good example of that.
No,
Also, by the way,
I
every
agree.
time I saw this picture, had no idea there were 2 stages in it. I've seen this picture many times. First time I noticed that there were 2 stages.
Well, there you go.
Hmm.
Nobody in the room knew there were 2 stages until we turned those lights on.
It's movie magic. That's it. You turn the lights off and it disappears.
All right. So in this picture, this is our friends at the Westchester County Association. Of course, we have a panel, but the panel's in the Oprah Winfrey style fireside chat seats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, we're doing that right
Yeah,
now.
we're
There's
doing
no
that.
fire though.
No, I
Christmas tree.
was considering a monitor with fire. But anyways, we move on. The funny thing with this picture is we're using a ballroom, a regular hotel ballroom, in a different manner. So we're actually sideways. Instead of it being where it would normally be, cut the air wall, change the look of the space. People enter from a different direction. It's kind of cool.
Changing things up.
Changing things
Keeping
up.
it fresh. Well, speaking of interesting spaces.
Well, I mean, Ryan, you know a little bit about this space. What is it?
I do. This is an airplane hangar. This is our friends at Millionaire, another BCW event. I think my favorite, if I'm being honest.
Why would it be your favorite?
I don't know. No reason. An airplane hangar. And I got to say, nope, wrong one.
The picture's there.
Yeah, the picture's there,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Sorry.
Anyway, airplane hangar, an unusual space. I think that, kind of became part of the event experience in a big way.
Absolutely. I mean, the space of Millionaire is really cool anyways. But in this case, we still had to transform this from an airplane maintenance garage into a space that you'd want to have an award show in. And I like to think we did.
I think you did that because I had a nice, memorable experience. So it's not always do I get to attend the events that we do. This actually might have been a first.
Why? Can you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Why did you attend?
Well, self-explanatory. My ego's already too high. I have to keep moving.
I agree with that. Ryan was a rising star, so he not only attended, but he participated in the event.
That's right.
It was really a great moment for all of us. Talking about crazy spaces, how about an old Applebee's restaurant that was stripped down naked?
So you're saying at this event, you were or you were not eating good in the neighborhood?
There was no burgers being cooked at this event.
Fair.
Applebee's had moved out of the space. Our friends at Arts Westchester had this tremendous building piece of artwork, and they're right next door to the space. And I think that was they actually had people in their own gallery outside of this tremendous installation on Amerenik Avenue. And then they walked a red carpet right into a new pop-up makeshift event space. Did have some challenges. I'm not going to lie.
Well, sometimes, the setting is unique, but it does create unique challenges. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. But I got to say, it came out great, and they did a nice job. And all in all, success.
How about another unique space?
I mean, it looks like you could land, a UFO in this space. But in reality, this was home of the Franciscan Friars of Atonement. And we had an unusual event for us because it was actually a conference. I know this doesn't seem like your normal conference space.
It does not.
So again, we did have to transform this space as well because we were streaming live. We did have remote guests via Zoom. We did have live performances from, I can't think of her name now, but she was a Nashville superstar.
Oh, I know who you're talking.
Amy Grant.
Nailed it. Look at that.
That's pretty good. So that was unusual. I mean, it really had everything a high-level conference would.
And you know what? Including most importantly, a high-level crew.
And they're being watched over?
Nope. Moving on.
Oh, come on.
Nope. Can't do that. Moving on.
All right.
So where are we at now?
Well, now we're moving from fundraising
Okay.
and nonprofit into our hospital friends. Because as many of you know, we do a lot of work in the healthcare community. And we saw a number of actual grand openings this year. The hospitals were so busy in the last few years that they've had to increase their space, and they're really major pillars of every community. I mean, that's what we've noticed in certainly the Hudson Valley. And this happened to be a grand opening that we had a packed house at. So this is up in Hudson Valley in Kingston, and they did a phenomenal job. It's a great facility, and really looking forward to what else is going on there. But many of our hospital and healthcare clients also have fundraising events.
That's true. Well, you're probably going to need something like that in order to
That's how you expand,
have grand
man.
openings, right?
You got to expand. You got to.
So that's good. So it's like two sides of the same coin here, but
it's a pretty cool event going on. Ryan, you know anything about this event?
This was up in Connecticut. And I think, prior to us going live, we did talk about the hospital fundraisers, the hospital galas in particular, where it's actually an interesting group because it was very much so traditional. I think in large part because they didn't get to have that very special night for so long that they were just, dying to get back at it. And I know this group in particular.
It's kind of a
dicey
term to use. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yes. Absolutely.
You can't just hush me.
I can.
No, you can't.
Because we're live and this is what I offer for you. Okay.
Fine.
It's like a built-in, they have the dump button in radio. Like, nope, moving on. Okay.
Fine, Finch.
There we go. We had some lighting in the front, some gobos, custom gobos made, a nice welcome reception. And again, a very traditional kind of night. Again, I did see that as a bit of a theme.
It looks very nice. I like it.
Oh yeah, look at that. It matches.
Yeah. Very cool.
There we go. How about another traditional night?
I mean, red seems to be the color in these photos.
It does.
Yeah, very nice. That was a good time. Another good time, gotta say. Good event. Sorry, I'm just looking at the pictures. What do you want me to say?
All right. Well, that's good. We do have a lot of examples. And what time is it? We're probably
all right. We're moving on here. I can't read that clock. It's too small.
There we go.
All right. So that was actually also a hospital event, but we're going to come back to that space afterwards. But you're right. They were traditional events in the terms of gala dinners and fundraisers and bring your main donors and sponsors together.
Absolutely.
All of those were very traditional. Even though that particular one, last minute, we had an honoree who could not make it.
And can I take a guess?
Take a guess.
Did we Zoom them in?
We streamed it to them.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they didn't have to speak. They had to watch.
They didn't have to speak.
Okay.
They were not able to speak. They were recovering. So,
got it. Understood.
But so we streamed it to them, and I think that was really a really great move by our client. Because here's someone who's really given them a lot,
right?
And they said we need to be able to do whatever we can to make them still feel a part of it. And so I thought that was a really great move, and of course something that we were able to accommodate, and that was the morning of. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was a little last second, but it was a nice way for them to accommodate their honoree. So I thought that was good.
Well, it looks like we're shifting gears just a little bit here. This, I think, something we've shown on this show quite a bit was from our Pirate University, that we held back in, was that August or September? Beginning of September.
Yeah, beginning of September.
So it does start the first bit of this conversation on backdrops. In this case, we actually used a product from a partner of ours, Drape Kings AV Drop. Really nice backdrop product that in this case we used to custom brand, not in a print fashion, but in a projection. And so you see that Stagehand 101, get the basics right. That is just part of a projected image that we're putting right on the back. And so again, getting back to that theme of raising the production level, and also right along with that is raising the level of branding that we've seen in a lot of these events. So a series of other photos we're going to see a little bit more on, in terms of how other groups have been branding their events a little bit more, noticeably. So here we go. Another shot on that. Of course, has nothing to do with that. But
it really has nothing to do with this event.
We did have the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams.
Ryan, can you just go back one for a second?
Yep.
Again, real hybrid going on.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Absolutely. This was a hybrid event. I breezed right past that.
You did breeze right past
Well, that's another thing. We have several photos for that.
So, all right. Well, we just wanted to show you.
There we go. We'll double back. Here we go. And again, nothing to do with branding. I'm guessing those are out of order. That's okay. Joe, talk about this project because I think you know a little bit more than I do.
I do. We have a couple of photos of different. We do a lot of work in Manhattan on different art installations. And in these photos here, let's stay on this one for a minute. Where this is called projection mapping, where you're taking a number of projectors and merging the images to form one large image. And that can be on a particular item. It can just be a wide image, or it could be like the next one.
I think it's important to say as we show this video that this is part of the process of actually getting the image to fit in the space. Obviously, this is an installation that I'm sure people charge money to see.
A lot of money.
So we're not showing the final artwork, and that's really on purpose. But in this case, you get to see a little bit of a behind the scenes on how we literally map the projectors to fit each and every surface in the room. So that's a pretty cool project, and our very own Scotty Mack took the lead on that one.
He did. It was a cool project.
Absolutely.
They actually went around the doorways. They went around everything.
Very cool.
Really slick.
Speaking of another interesting project, this was, again, now it seems like a very unique year in some ways, but this was an NFT gallery. Now, I am not going to explain to Joe what an NFT is because we don't have the kind of time on this show.
It's like Pokemon, to get into that. Right?
No.
I mean, no?
I mean, well, not a terrible comparison, but I did feel compelled to laugh at you. But in this case, obviously a bunch of monitors that we put in portrait mode, had a different image displayed on each. Everything was 4K. 4K, I think, is going to be more and more of a thing. It certainly seems so. But yeah, another interesting project that we honestly would never have seen pre-pandemic because NFTs weren't a thing.
Correct. Are they still a thing?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. We also work for a lot of what do you call the Bitcoins and all those groups?
Oh, yeah. We work for a lot of Bitcoins. Quote, Joe Gilderson, 2022. You can take that to the bank.
We didn't work with FTX, though.
No, we didn't. And we're moving on. Look at that. Dump button. Joe, you want to talk about this?
Graduations. Go back one, bitch.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, it's not that often you get to spend a week at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that's right. The Hulu Theater.
The Hulu Theater. We were working with NYU during their graduations for the law school. And pretty prestigious, a lot of work again. But we were involved in more graduations this year than ever for a variety of reasons. This one also a hybrid, streaming out to the universe as well.
Sure.
But really cool event. Yeah, then that's
a little backstage view.
That's
nice.
Right. Yeah, a lot of monitors. It's always lots of monitors. But that one in
appropriate for the setting
was very cool.
Right.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Was there a confetti cannon at this?
There was a confetti cannon.
Confetti cannon.
I don't know if we got video of that one right now.
I don't think we do, but that is an unusual AV item.
Yeah, we had 4 confetti cannons out. So we were blasting confetti for days.
Now, this is another interesting space, one that's a little more familiar to us, but also a graduation. So not a setting that you would necessarily pair together, but I think this worked quite well.
Absolutely. I mean, it met all the requirements of different people of being outdoors, so they felt safe. Their airflow, this and that, and they could still fit, 800 to 1,000 people, no problem. So we actually did a number of graduations there.
And where's that?
That's Caramore.
Caramore.
Yes.
Okay. Another shot. This was the hybrid end of another graduation for a university up in Connecticut. We were brought in specifically to help out with the live streaming aspect, because obviously there's a lot of folks that would have wanted to be there and aren't able to. So, I think that's actually a place where graduations in particular, there's a natural home for live streaming and hybrid just because of the volume of people. How many times have you heard about like, oh, we only get 2 tickets, so I guess I can only bring so-and-so. But at least now Nana and Uncle Larry and everybody else, they can all come and, well, virtually and at least watch the special moment.
If Bob was your uncle,
he would be able to watch. That's right. He goes, his name is Robert. He goes by Bob. Bob's your uncle. Another outdoor graduation. I would say we got lucky with the weather because it looks nice, but it actually poured with the sun shining. It poured, but it went away just in time for a really nice event. But another instance of we didn't get to do this for years, so now let's go a little bit bigger. We had an LED truck that we brought in just to kind of raise again, that showmanship, right? We just made it feel a little bit larger. So again, another instance of an outdoor graduation. Another event for a school, not a graduation, but in any case, did kind of fit in with the vibe. This was a completely hybrid live streamed conference that had, you know, some production graphics built in, and obviously the idea was for them to cast a wider net, which is also a common theme on the show.
I think that Andrew from the Shark Creative would be very happy of you using the cast a wider net.
Cast a wider net, chunkable bite-sized pieces. We've actually
Shark bites.
That's been common threads in this show since we basically started.
Well, I mean, you know, Andrew gave us some good material, and we've used it, and we've given him credit for it
every single time. That's right. I think with this, we're actually moving into a little bit different of a part of this conversation, and that is the corporate meeting and event, because that is something that in the later half of our year, I think really kind of had a big resurgence and definitively looked different. And that's where the themes of more branding and hybrid became, you know, really the dominant trait of those events. So moving into some of these, I think each and every one of them was hybrid in a certain way. That seemed to just be a staple. But again, as you'll see, increased branding, you know, presence in the backdrops. You know, here's us mid-build on one of them. This was down in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm just going to breeze through some of these. This is a little bit different.
I don't know how that one snuck in there. But that is another mapping, another projection mapping. Yeah. We're using an example so that we could show someone for an event they were doing. And we always liked when our trucks look, you know, like splattered paint. So.
Yeah, that actually, it worked pretty nicely actually for, you know, a white truck. There you go. So a little bit more of the, you know, we'll call it corporate. This is a little bit more of the, we worked for many Bitcoins. Yeah, very similar. There we go. We did have another celebrity sighting, Mr. Run DMC.
I mean, digital currency. Is that what I should?
Digital currency was good, but again, it's never mind. We don't have time on this show.
Do you have the video from Run DMC?
I do not. I don't want to get cut off on Facebook.
Okay.
You know.
All right, no problem.
There we go. We do have a role in this annual event.
4th of July special. Yeah,
Always
Nathan's
fun.
Hot Dogs.
So then here, another a really good example of when hybrid became really the central aspect of these corporate town halls. Now, corporate town halls is actually something that we've been involved with for, and more than involved with, I would call it a bit of a niche for us, that we've been involved with for, what you say, the last decade or so that they've been present. Like that. So the corporate town hall was something that really kind of disappeared for a little while. They, you know, in many cases just handled it virtually. They had their IT guys that they didn't mind running through walls, because that's more than likely what happened. And but they also had their own, you know, communication systems worked out, and they were able to figure it out. And they were able to be functional during that time. And now, of course, things have loosened up a little bit more. We got more people in offices, and now it's all right. Well, how do we raise this? How do we elevate this experience and bring more people into the fold and make it feel a little bit more of like an event, right? Instead of a Zoom call. Now we're in an event, and Zoom might still be involved, but certainly a good example of, you know, we got 100 of our employees or so physically in the offices. You can actually see in this picture, it was incredibly difficult to fit all of this in the space, but we did make it work. It just kind of felt like putting, you know, 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag.
And you're allowed to say that?
Okay. You can run back the tape. I was clean in that.
I'm just saying.
Just 10 pounds, ambiguous.
Okay.
Anyway. So there we go. So we have some more corporate town halls, right? Same kind of thing. We've got a small audience in-house, but we have people that we need to see and hear from in other locations. And in some cases, they actually have their own audience, and they're doing another hybrid event on the other end, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Ryan, I just want to point out a comment.
I can't see it.
From Julia Salem Emmerich.
Okay.
That she really likes the Between the Two Ferns episode today.
Oh, no.
Even though they're poinsettias, Julia. But, I mean, I don't want to correct you.
Well, she was making a reference, because Between Two Ferns. Do you know what Between Two Ferns is?
I have no idea what that is.
I knew it.
I have no idea what that is.
So happy.
Is that some theatrical thing?
It's a show. It's a Zach Galifianakis.
I'm not going to watch that.
But that's what she's referencing.
If it's not the Celtics, the Patriots, I'm not watching that. Come on.
Okay, not the audience.
Thank you, Julia.
But thank you, Julia. Yes. But getting back to the corporate thing again, we have to see and hear people who are not in the room. That just became such a dominant thing in the corporate space, and you know, something that we were pretty well suited to handle. Again, more branding, more backdrops. This you can't tell from this photo alone, but we had an entire segment that was 2 presenters on the stage in the room, and the third presenter was on all the screens and, you know, communicating back and forth. At one point, there was a slide deck that someone on the stage was managing, but the person on the, you know, Zoom side was all choreographed. It was a late stage COVID test positive, and, you know, now I have to do it hybrid. So, you know, something that was, again, very, very present for the latter half of this year and the corporate side. So again, more of these, a lot of these corporate meetings, a lot of hybrid events. This, I'm not sure if this was corporate,
It was
but
a hybrid event.
It was a
as
very
well.
hybrid event. That was
Yeah,
nice.
executive board.
Mm-hmm.
And again, some people have to be brought in because they couldn't make it either due to time commitments or dollars
Right.
or, you know, whatever, or illness. They couldn't make it.
I like that we got John during lunchtime in this one. I'm going to leave
Yeah,
this one up on
I
screen as
noticed
long as
that
possible.
you chose that picture.
It was a good picture. I didn't notice until we were live just now that he was eating a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, it was his
nobody's there. He's okay.
4 seconds of break that he
I know,
had in
right?
like 3 days.
That's the only time he gets to sit down. That's it. Oh, jeez. Another really good example of corporate town hall. In this case, it was much more of a studio feel where the content, the stage, is the only thing that's live and everything else is remote, watching remote. But a really good example of a group that slowly, looks like we're doing right now.
Kind of like this.
They slowly built up their production level, piece by piece, quarter by quarter. And I actually thought they were a really good example of how to do that well. So
they
we
have
got a few
done a nice
shots
job
of
with
the studio here backstage. Here's another example of that studio setting. So again, another, you know, while we're pointing out tips, you know, if town halls are something that you're trying to wade back into, or there's an appetite for it, just know that there is a way to control your stage environment without necessarily needing to cater to a larger in-person audience. You can still raise the production level while still, you know, keeping the amount of exposure down and, you know, really putting a handle on the costs as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we're moving into the final stage of this conversation.
Yeah,
which
we'll call this special events,
parties,
events,
holidays. There's a Christmas tree in this one, so we know.
Yeah,
what that is.
There's a lot of things in this one.
There is a lot of things, or there are a lot of things,
like
namely
lions and tigers and bears.
And,
oh my!
Oh man, what happened to the bears?
I took that one out.
There's another photo of Mo with a bear. I just thought they were great selfies.
They were. I'm glad that he took the time at the event to take pictures of himself with animals.
I'd like to think it was after the event.
I'm pretty sure it was probably right in the middle.
Good group. They request Mo by name every year because he's a lot of fun. So I can only imagine that, you know.
And I would say that these pictures were present at our holiday party.
Yes, they were. The holiday party is, the video is not something we're going to play on the show.
No.
It's also very long. So
yes, but it was very good. But you could go to the
Speaking
next
of
one,
videos,
let's see what we got for video here.
Okay. I think I have the sound turned off. I hope so, because it's not important. And hopefully you can hear us talking too. So there you go. What do we got here?
Well, we have a gymnasium turned into a big event space for faculty. This is a university, and completely transformed the space. And clients loved it, you know, with drape lighting.
Absolutely.
DJ sound, you know, it's
That's
just
a full event,
full thing,
full event design in that case. You know, that looks really nice. Got the video again. Hey, this is a different event.
Different event.
They were much better about including more of the holidays, so that's good. Good for them.
Included all of the holidays.
Season's greetings. Get a little catch-all, right?
Well, you know, you gotta get everybody.
That's good. And I think we have another video from this, if I'm not mistaken.
I think there is.
Yep, this is it. Boom. My favorite part of this video is watching everyone coming in on their phones, recording it.
Yeah.
I think if all of your guests coming into your event have their phones out and their mouths open and are recording, you've done something right.
And do you know why they're recording it?
Because there's gobos moving all over the walls.
Because it's actually snowing. We used a snow machine.
Did you really?
Yes. It's
I didn't even know
snowing in that lobby.
Oh, you know what? Hey, if I look closely there, you can see the snow. Wow.
Yeah, it came out great.
Huh.
It came out great.
Well, there you go. That's experiential.
And we partnered up with our friend Andrew on that one, and he did a great job. Nice
video again. Oh, I think that's it.
Okay, well then you're going off screen.
Off screen. There we go.
I told you it's live. I mean,
well, that went fairly well.
I mean, I thought it went pretty good. I mean, you know, of
We're
course,
patting ourselves on the back, and we're not even
well,
done
as
with the
Marissa
episode
would
yet.
say, so humble.
So humble. I am the most humble,
mean,
actually.
You are the most humble. So, and you know, the original Joe G chimed in here to say Merry Christmas. He should be saying Happy Holidays, but we'll you know, just let him.
I mean, there is a
here.
literal Christmas tree next to us.
So. To everyone at Corporate AV. Hold on, we have more comments. We have the best.
We
partners.
do have the best partners.
This is true.
Absolutely.
Absolutely true. And we'll even put up I mean, aren't you in the theater by now? What is with all these comments?
You're breaking Broadway etiquette right now.
You better not be on that phone in there. That's all I know. Okay, well, let's take her off screen. I think I've heard about enough of her right now. You know.
Oh, jeez. Well, hopefully she's heard about enough of us too. Because
I think we're at the end of our line, anyways. I think everybody's heard enough of us. But you know, we really had a great year. We got to do. It was so nice to be back working with all of our clients in person. While we have a number of clients, we still, of course, work with online in the virtual space and with a lot of events that are perfectly appropriate for that.
Right.
Like that make complete sense. And we think that that's going to continue because there are a lot of events that, you know, online makes a lot of sense for. And it's a great tool for people to have when they're trying to plan out what events are going to work and to target certain audiences.
And to cast a wider net.
Wow. You're really digging in on that. But yes, to cast a wider net. Okay. But either way, it really was. We had a great year. It was so fun to see everybody and to get back in action. And I think all in all, everybody really did kind of amp up the events because they hadn't been in person for so long.
Right.
That they wanted to do something different. They wanted to do it bigger. They want to come in with new ideas. And hopefully we were able to give you some ideas as you're watching and starting to plan for your 2023 seasons. Now, Mr. Finch.
Yeah.
I think really that's all I have. Do you have anything else you'd like to contribute?
No.
That sounds about right. Well, listen, from everyone at Corporate Audiovisual and, of course, from us here at AVX Live, happy holidays. We hope you have a very enjoyable and healthy break and that everybody has a fantastic 2023. So on that note, Mr. Finch, it's time for us to wrap it up for 2022.
Okay. Well, for the final time in 2022, maybe I'll even change up the sequence of these in 2023.
Whatever
Maybe we'll add
buddy.
some new things in.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, for the final time in 2022, you can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You can do that live. Oh, that's good.
That's the
you can do that live. And while you're there, you can drop us a comment like Marissa Madonia did and be part of our show. That's a nice thing to do. So do it. You can also smash the subscribe button. You can like, comment, share, subscribe, all the above. And if you miss our show, you can find it. Shame on you, first of all. Shame on you, first of all. But second of all, you can find it in bite-sized pieces on Facebook and on Instagram afterwards. And I don't know if I got them all. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, look,
I made such an emphasis to get close to the camera. I just went off script.
We will be back.
Wednesdays, 1 o'clock.
We'll be back in 2023. Some new guests, some new ideas, some new thoughts on how you can work on improving your events. So everyone, thank you. Happy holidays. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. Mr.
Stay
Finch.
golden, Pony Boy. I'm going to come up with a new one for 2023.
He's coming up with
a new one.
But for
now,
one.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.